We're at my grandma's house. We had no idea what was gonna happen when we walked through those doors.
Completely impromptu.
The only place that I feel a little bit weird about is this back corner.
Look up.
Is that a cigar box?
That's the letters. When you brought the letters up, it was like total validation of your whole experience. It just was jarring.
So did you leave that cabinet open? Because I swear I just watched it open.
Yeah, I see it.
Did you open it?
It wasn't open.
She goes, will you come and play with me? Dad, there's a little girl in my room. And he was like, Amanda, like, I just want you to know that I've seen her too.
That room or area, I really needed to get out of there.
I have talked about that place since we've left.
Suddenly, the front door flew open. Said that there'd been a priest out. I thought, well, geez, this is serious business.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we're Mackie and Amanda. I'm Mackie.
I'm Amanda.
And we're the Spooky Boos.
I hate you. This video that we had planned tonight has gone in a completely different direction. We're actually recording the intro for this video after we recorded the video because we had no idea what was going to happen when we walked through those doors.
Completely impromptu. Like, it just all of a sudden started, and I think you walked over and just hit record on, or someone walked over and hit record on the camera.
I've never talked. Okay, I'm just going to take a little step back.
Okay.
We're at my grandma's house. My dad's mom. My dad, who's also sensitive.
But the thing is, let me just point out, we came here for a video that was not even haunted. We just were meeting in this city, and we're like, you're like, my grandma lives here, we can use her house.
Yeah, like, she'd be happy to let us stay, literally nice, like, for sure. And of course she was, and so she let us come in, and we filmed our first video, and then we were just sitting down, and we were all talking, and you started asking about my childhood, maybe, or, I don't know what, maybe, no, she asked. She goes, do you remember the first thing that you had ever seen? So she brought up the conversation, but it just slowly turned into one of those types of conversations. So someone hit record, and this is basically what ensued was, I don't remember talking to a lot of people about it. Even she said we didn't talk to her about it. She remembers very, very little. Just my dad mentioning that a priest was coming out. And then at one point when she was babysitting us, she had an experience. And it, I'm sure, startled her. But while we were sitting there talking tonight, even a cupboard opened.
Yes.
So you guys will get to hear straight from my grandma's mouth exactly what she remembers, even though she wasn't a huge part. And she didn't know while we were trying. She was one of the people we were trying to keep it from.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
So, because we were trying to keep it from most people. My other grandma, she's the one who eventually we told, and she recommended a priest.
Wow.
But not until after she moved out, so.
Well, like we said, this was going to be a completely different video today, so that will be next week. But some videos just end up happening that we get, like, really excited about. Like, oh my gosh, like, people need to see this right now. So comment down below if you like these type of just, like, real videos about, I don't know,
I mean,
stuff.
It's truly insane. I think that there's a lot of people who can say, you know, I believe that you can practice mediumship. Like, I'm not saying that. But I think that there's a lot of people who come out and they just say, like, oh yeah, I've been a medium my whole life. But it's another thing when you have family members and you have people in your life who are like, oh yeah, I remember this happening when I babysat you. Or I remember your dad telling me that a priest was coming to your house. Because those are things that are just not normal.
Yeah, like you said, I also believe you can, like, practice mediumship.
Yeah.
But I don't know, part of me is like, some people are just born, like, more sensitive and maybe they could, like, grow on that. But then there's other people like you that are just born mediums.
Some people are born seeing, like, Frank Sinatra, and some people need to learn, you know? But
I think you have to have some sort of sensitivity, though. Like, you know those people that are like, I've never seen anything in my entire life. Like, I don't think all of a sudden they're gonna wake up one day and
and just all of a sudden be open. It's super interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about for sure. But let us know in the comments below. What
yeah, the point I was trying to make is it's crazy hearing your family randomly start talking about this, because this is the first time I've ever met your grandma, and she was just like having a conversation and just started talking about it. I'm like, that's so weird, because this is what she said. She's like, you were just like a little thing running around.
I actually, like, the camera was facing me, and so I held my hand up to show you guys the same way, just because you guys couldn't see her.
So it's just crazy when your grandma says that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're just a little kid running around with this
It really
happening.
was. No, and it's sad, like, to think about, you know what I mean? I really was a little kid this high running around, and our front doors were slamming open, and...
It's so sad. Just like the trauma.
I'm doing good, okay.
Yeah, but you're better now. Anyway, enjoy the video.
Hit that like button. Please. Please. I think Jer told me at the celebration of life that there was something in your office, so to here and to the left.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever been in this room. Was it... Did this used to be Keith's office?
No, it's mine. Directly to your right on the wall is the light switch.
Oh, It is like 10 degrees colder in here.
Way colder.
Yeah.
Is that your dad?
Yes, that is my dad, and then his sister.
He looks just like Tyler. That is crazy. Just their eyes, the smile. Wow.
The only place that I feel a little bit weird about is this back corner. And I almost feel like this scratchy kind of scratch, like a scratch in my throat. You know what I mean?
You know what's back there?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You know what's back there?
Looks like there's like a little attic or something up there.
Look up. The box.
Oh, that?
Is that a cigar box?
That's the letters.
Oh my gosh. Okay. No way. No way. Can I look at them?
Yeah, I haven't had it down since I moved in here, but yeah.
Wow. For those of you who don't know this story, this is, to date, one of the best things that has ever happened to me. But I had come home from school sick one day, and my dad picked me up. He came home from work early, and he works nights, so he was just exhausted, and he was asleep on the couch, and I was watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, and this episode came on. Doesn't even matter, besides the point. As I'm watching the show, this young man walks through. I can actually show you because his picture is right behind you, Mackie.
Oh.
Come on in, Brendan.
That one?
Yes, sir. That handsome young man walked in my living room in full uniform, immediately just started talking as if he knew me, and right away I knew exactly who he was. He was around Tyler's age, but I couldn't figure out exactly what his message was and what he wanted to share. We talked, I kid you not, for hours. Big Stan and little Stan.
Oh, is that his dad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow, gosh. I've never seen that picture before. That's amazing.
I love it.
But we talked for a long time, and we talked about his daughter, so my aunt, and we talked about my dad, and of course we talked a lot about you. He kept saying that something was that day. And I was like, well, what's going on today? You know, like, what is it? Is it an anniversary? Is it a birthday? Is it, what kind of date is it? And he just, it was so stubborn. I thought it was odd that he would tell me that, but wouldn't tell me what the date specifically was. And he goes, ask your Grandma Karen. And I was like, well, what if she doesn't remember? Like, that's my worst nightmare, you know? He goes, ask her, and he was just as stubborn as I am. Guess it runs in the blood. I put together the fact that he had this military uniform on and that he was asking about a special date. Like, I asked him if he served. He had confirmed that he did. I asked you when I finally got a hold of you if you knew him when he did, and you told me he did. And then he goes, the letters, ask her about the letters, as if it was so obvious. It was not. And so your daughter, my aunt, and you got to go up, and there was this box of letters in your attic?
No, not in my attic, in the closet, but up, you know, stuck away. They were just very
just put
private
away.
And put away, yeah.
Wow.
My Aunt Jerry, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but she said that she didn't know these existed.
No.
And that's her dad. She'd never gotten to read these letters. Like, that's so special to have these letters between your parents. Can I open it?
Yeah, you can. Do you want to come in here?
Yes, I would love that.
This is better, I think. I haven't seen the inside of this.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Karen.
Is this from when you guys were married?
Before we were married. And after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Letters inside every single one. That's amazing. Congratulations, graduate. Do you remember when you graduated? Like, where was this high school or was this college?
There's more to that story. High school. And I had just met him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
About maybe 2 or 3 weeks before.
Love it. That was amazing. Wow. Cowboy Stan, happy anniversary.
Stan.
It makes me think about his bar shooters.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Has my dad got to go through these with you?
Nobody has.
Wow. On East Grand.
That was before we were married. Yeah, if it's on East Grand, yeah.
It's crazy to see like all the places that he had traveled. You know, like Camp Liliquera.
He was in the Army National Guards, and those letters were written when they were like in their summer, you know, practicing their serious war games and out in the desert.
I just from Grandpa Pete, his was it his grandpa? He was shot down. He was a pilot during World War I or World War II and was shot down and taken as a POW. And he kept a journal throughout his entire time there. So I just got the journal and I've been slowly reading through it, but like just unbelievable what.
My dad was a pilot in World War II in the South Pacific. He flew the wounded and supplies.
Was he wasn't the one who flew the
Tuskegee Airmen?
Yeah, was he?
Was that era? World War II? Yeah, was
definitely.
That era? But they were in Europe, were they not?
They were here for a time, I think, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
He was, like I say, it was in the South Pacific. They were, I'm pretty sure they were in Europe.
What a special thing that you have all of these. So did you find out what that day was? Do you remember?
No. I'm not sure that when we first talked about it. Do you remember that, was it a day or a date?
A date. I think it was a date.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't.
I'm sure that there's texts either your mom.
I was gonna say I bet I
could
could figure it out though because I have an Apple, so everything goes to my cloud. We could find out that date. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be very interesting.
Because all these are stamped September 19th, you know, so you can get September 18th.
Well, it was amazing because it wasn't that I intended to keep the letters a secret. There was no reason to do that.
Yeah.
But I just had never talked about them. And so when you brought the letters up, it was like total validation of your whole experience. I mean, it just was jarring.
Yeah.
Because it was like the stamp.
Yeah, there's always that one moment where I was getting my nails done the other day, and I talked to Grandma Sandy about it sometimes. And my biggest fear is just talking to people about it in public because I get really nervous, and I don't want to make people uncomfortable. Do they want to hear about it? I don't know. How am I going to leave them feeling? And she goes, you just need to talk about it more. That's what you wanted to use your gift for. And she was really encouraging me more. And
one that was doing your nails?
No, Grandma Sandy was.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah, okay. But she's right, you know. I'm like, I know. And so I go and I go to the gym, and then I go to get my nails done, and Brendan drops me off, and I'm sitting there, and there are 6 seats. And one woman sits next to me, and she's a blonde, and I look at her, and then I notice she's not alone, and I'm like, oh no, like sit quietly and behave, you know, don't speak unless spoken to. But this woman was just relentless, and I think what threw me off most was, I was sitting there in my own little world trying to figure out, her family, I knew it was a woman with her. Is it her family or is it her best friend? And I just could not figure it out. Like, they were so close, but it was family, but it was her best friend, and I'm just going back and forth. And finally, I look over to her and I go, I'm so sorry. I go, this might be rude, and abrupt, and probably an inappropriate place for me to ask you this.
To bring it up. Her nails just
literally, she can't go anywhere. And we have our feet up. You
talk about it.
We're right next to each other, literally. So you have nowhere to go.
You're trapped.
If I do want to ask, and finally.
Yep. Perfect.
This woman was just pushed me just far enough that I was like, all right, I've had it. I'll ask her. And so I'm sitting there, we're both getting our toes done, and I look at her. We're on opposite sides, and I'm like, switch me sides. I can't do this.
I know, this is awful.
We are always on the side.
Yeah, these are our sides.
No, but I'm getting my nails done, and we both have our little feet up, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. This might be inappropriate, this might be rude, and an inappropriate thing to ask, especially at this time, but did you lose someone close to you very recently, a woman? And I go, I can't tell if she was your best friend or if she's a family member or both. And she just the color leaves her face, goes white, and she says, my grandmother passed away this week. And
this morning?
This week.
Oh, this week.
And we were best friends.
Aww.
And she goes, and then after, she kind of has that initial shock, she just lights up and she goes, all week since it happened, have been asking for signs, something. And she's from a small town. I think it was actually a different country, so not even this language. And I've been asking for signs and just begging, tell me you're here, give me a sign, show me that you're with me. And even though on my phone I keep seeing ads for these pop-up companies or trips to go there, I keep brushing them off in my mind, thinking maybe my phone is listening to me, or I'm always looking for an explanation. And I look at her and I go, what greater explanation is there than a stranger sitting next to you in a nail salon who we don't know each other? I'm like, I don't know about you. I wasn't planning on getting my nails done today. And she starts tearing up again, and she goes, I wasn't supposed to be here right now. And I go, we're the only 2 people in this room, and they sat us right next to each other. Your grandma was getting that sign across to you, and when you weren't taking the hint, boy, did she drop the bomb on you, you know? But it just goes to show you, they hang out and they will be relentless. That one was so cool.
Is it exhausting or exciting, or what is it?
I would never say it's exhausting, except for the fact when we go to the more intense locations, you know, Bay Theater is the one that comes to mind immediately. I don't know if you'll remember that one off the top of your head, but just a lot of negative spirits, and not like this woman in the nail salon or Grandpa Stan or people like that who I get to deal with and talk to, who I almost, instead of feeling drained afterwards, I feel like I've gained energy, because all the people around me are so much happier and so much more energized, so I kind of feed off of that too. But when it's negative, I would say it could be draining.
Yeah, like
sure.
In Bay Theater, you're like, okay, I need to leave, because you're like falling asleep, standing. You're like, this isn't right.
No, for sure. So it could be draining, but
yeah. How about you, Mackie? Are these experiences similar for you? Or?
I definitely get like drained. Like, you just feel like super tired after. I guess it's like the same thing at some of like the heavier places. You just feel like, I don't know, like they're sucking everything out of you almost.
Wow.
And they almost drain our batteries faster.
Well, that makes sense to me, because you want more. I mean, I'm on the receiving end of what you're sharing. I'm on the receiving end of what you're sharing. And you're like sucking it out is exactly what it feels like, because you don't want it to end until you've heard every single thing possible.
But sometimes, like, when you're there, you're just like, I've got to get out of here at this point. Like, sometimes it's just too much.
Survival.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I feel like rarely with living people do I ever leave feeling more drained, you know? Like, I'm very, what's the word I'm looking for? There's extroverted. Like, I'm very extroverted, so dealing with other people and like talking about it, leaving interactions like that, I always feel more energized than I did before. Where some people,
you've given them a gift.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you ever spoke to someone outside of your circle?
I do. But it wasn't even so much of like speaking to her. It was while I was still living at that old house. And my family's philosophy was don't speak to them, like don't talk about them, you can go ahead and walk fast. You're so thoughtful.
Exactly.
Our mentality was everything of this is demonic, and so don't talk about it, don't speak about it, don't talk to them, it gives them power, don't be afraid. So that was like what I was kind of living my life as. And
as a little girl. I don't know how tall you were.
Well, I mean, as I could hold a pencil, you know what I mean? Before I could speak, I was drawing these things. And so it was really hard dealing with this one in particular entity, but it wasn't until after I moved out of that house that I started seeing spirits of people and like pets. And it was, have you ever seen Ghost Whisperer? It's a girl, and this is so funny. It's about a girl. She sees and speaks to spirits. She's married to a firefighter, EMT. And she helps spirits, like, cross over. That's the entire premise.
Is this a fictional show?
Yeah, it's a fictional show.
What the heck?
Right? I didn't realize what was out there until we got out of the Escondido house and I stopped seeing that one negative thing. But while we were there, I remember at one point, I walked into... Do you remember the downstairs bedroom that was all bricks? That was, like, Tyler?
Yes, I do.
I walked down and I turned left and I had a bed, and the bed frame had the headboard and then like the part that doesn't have the mattress you always hit your shins on, you know, it's just long enough to. And then there's the mattress. And I opened the door and there was a little girl, like clear as day, you and I, sitting in a dress and a nightgown and her hair in pigtails. and she was sitting on my headboard. And she stood up, so her feet were on my pillows, and I just remember, this is so funny saying this out loud, I just remember thinking, gross. You know?
Your face, gross.
Gross, like, feet on my pillows. But I didn't have a lot of fear from her like I did that one demonic thing that I dealt with for so long. So, oh, that was embarrassing. Oh, it wasn't me.
It was you.
Naki always leaves her phone ringing on, but that time it was me.
Okay, also, did you leave that cabinet open? Because I swear I just watched it open.
I didn't leave that cabinet open because
I swear I just watched it open.
we didn't even get any plates, I don't think. What's it called?
Next to the fridge.
The microwave? Or...
Like the cabinet door.
Yeah, I see it.
Did you open it?
It wasn't open.
No, I just watched it open, but I just like
it either.
I don't know if I'm crazy or not.
It's opened more since we started talking about it.
Because
it was opening slowly, so that's why I was asking you guys, because like, okay, maybe it's my eyes tricking
thing
me.
on it.
Like the cabinet door.
Yeah, I see it.
Did you open it?
It wasn't open.
No, I just watched it open, but I
didn't
just like
open it
I
either.
don't know if I'm crazy or not.
It's opened more since we started
No, I know.
talking about it.
Because
It was opening slowly, so that's why I was asking you guys, because like, okay, maybe it's my eyes tricking me.
on it.
Cause I considered putting all the dishes away before you guys got here, and I thought, this is fine. Because I considered putting all the dishes away before you guys got here, and I thought, this is fine. And so I was in there, and I kind of, just kind of perused everything quickly.
Yeah.
Everything's closed, the drawers are closed, it was closed.
Yeah, the only cabinet we've opened has been the
Water
glass.
for the
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, the only cabinet we've opened has been the
Water
glass.
for the
Yeah.
glasses.
Something that used to happen at the old house a lot too was our cabinets would get opened. I don't know.
But when you were
Dad
talking
talked about it a lot.
and I watched that open, I'm like, oh my god, because we were talking about this 2 weeks ago. Like you gave me the house tour on Zillow.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about
Yeah,
that.
it's about what happened in each room.
So so when you were just talking about the house and I watched that open, I'm like, oh my god, that happened in her old house.
That was mellow.
so
that
weird.
Was mellow. We're fine.
I'm like, okay, are my eyes like playing tricks on me, or did that just open? I guess it opened.
But yeah, I just, compared to what I had seen normally, this really negative entity, stepping into this room and seeing a little girl of my age, dressed kind of like me, stand up on my pillows, and I'll never forget, like, that, ew, and then she stepped down, jumped off of the mattress and onto the little black part, the wooden thing that you'd hit your shin on. So I like heard her land, and then she jumped from that to the floor. Like jump, jump, jump. And she landed and walked towards me, and she goes, will you come and play with me? And I didn't feel bad at all or anything from it, but I was just at that point told, don't talk to them, don't speak to them, they're nothing of good, like anything like that. So I just remember shutting the door and walking back upstairs, and my dad worked nights at that time, so I didn't see him a lot. But he happened to be up getting water at that point, so I walked by him in the hall. He was walking this way, and I was walking towards the kitchen. And we weren't supposed to talk about it, but he was my dad, and I go, Dad, there's a little girl in my room. And it was the first time that he had stopped me, and he was like, Amanda, like, I just want you to know that I've seen her too. And he told me this story about a time when he and my mom were both up. They had put Tyler and I to bed, and you know how our old house was where you walked in and you were on the second floor and you could walk downstairs to the first floor. That's where all our bedrooms were. And they put us all, they were watching a movie, and they heard ruckus, and they turned around and they saw a little girl like peeking her head between the banisters. So I was busted, and my dad jumps over the back of the couch and is like running after me. Immediately I just take off and I start going down the stairs. my dad's coming after me, and he's thinking, she's going down, like, she's done, it's her bedtime, what's she thinking, you know? Probably, like, just laughing, you know? And he gets around the corner, and he opens my bedroom door, and I'm sound asleep. And he goes, maybe it could have been Tyler. And he opens Tyler's door, sound asleep. And he shuts, you know, that they were both on the same corner. He shuts those corners, and he just thinks, like, that was fucking weird. You know? He kind of takes a breath and turns around, and as he turns around to go back upstairs with my mom and watch the movie, he sees the little girl at the end of the hall walking into his room. And that's when he was like, that wasn't either of my kids.
Did you ever figure out who that was?
Never.
That BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Well,
oh,
I remember
say, that.
There was one thing that happened, and who knows if it's true, because I think spirits that are negative can take many forms, you know what I mean? Like, to try and have people trust them. But that one time that my dad picked me up from school and I was sick, and I was watching this YouTube video called BuzzFeed Unsolved, and I must have been 13 or 14 at the time, so we'd been out of the house for a couple of years.
That's shocking to me that you'd watch that after leaving that house.
I mean, it was never something that... I always knew I had, like, authority over it because of God. So, like, I tried not to be afraid or, like, let it rule my life, especially after it ended. Like, I was like, thank God, you know?
I just know with me, like, I wouldn't even watch, like, anything, like, ghost-related. I wouldn't even say, like, the word until I was, like, 19.
Wow.
Yeah. Until my friend passed away and then stopped being scared of it. But before that, I was, like, terrified.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
It's crazy.
Hard to act normal in a world when you've got this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I was in that house. I didn't end up listing it, but the man that owned it, he was a widower when I met him.
Right. He built it for him and his wife.
Right. And he wanted to sell the house, and so I sold real estate.
Oh, my mom's a realtor.
Oh, real. I remember he wanted to show me that room or area that was kind of like dug out, that was
under the base, like
yeah. And that I really needed to get out of there.
Really?
I have talked about that place since we've left.
Huh.
Yeah, something was weird.
What did he say about it?
You know, it's been so long ago.
Yeah.
All I remember is I was really uncomfortable, and I wasn't uncomfortable with him, but I did think, you know, if someone stuck me in here, they'd probably never find me. I remember thinking that.
Even the door, the way the door was with the lock.
And so I figured it was time
And time to go.
to gracefully leave. And obviously I didn't list the house, didn't sell the house. But yeah, that I knew that house.
Yeah, it was
so weird.
It was a different one for sure.
Were you ever able to like look it up and see if there was like anything weird there before?
No, I mean we pretty much knew every single owner. The very first person who built the house, I believe he was an aeronautical engineer, super wicked smart guy. He might have even been I don't know, he wasn't the widower, and he ended up just needing to sell the house. The next man bought it. He was the widower and sold it to us. We were the third owners.
I just wonder what was there before, like what type of land.
The hillside, real hilly, real beautiful actually, the views from there.
Oh, it's gorgeous, especially at night. Well, it's all old right down that street.
Right, yeah. So it could have been, you know, very significant history actually. Being on a hill and beautiful view and all.
There was something weird about that house for sure. like, just, even, I don't know if you know this fact, after we moved out, we rented it, right? And pretty soon after, my mom received an email from our tenants, and the email said, I'm not sure if you guys believe in this kind of stuff, but we were just wondering, did you guys ever have any, or like experience any paranormal activity while you were living here? And my mom just responds and goes, why? Like, don't deny, don't confirm. And what they said is crazy, because you have to think, it chased us out. You know, cupboards were opening and cups were flying out. Mirrors were getting thrown at us. They said it knows us by name.
Oh my God.
And it calls to us. And don't worry, we don't mind it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And my mom was like, great. You know?
I didn't have the opportunity to take care of you guys with Grandma Nita there and all, but one time I was there with you two, and you were little. You guys were, you know, this size.
Yeah.
And with my hearing, I have trouble hearing where sound is coming from, but I was certainly paying attention to you and enjoying the moment. And I was in the kitchen, and you guys were just doing your usual thing. The TV was on, and you know, there was stuff, but not a lot of activity.
Yeah.
And suddenly the front door flew open. You know, it filled that area, which was a dark area, it filled it with light. So it was obvious that door was open, and I thought, oh my gosh, the kids have run outside.
Oh yeah.
And I ran over there, and you weren't there. The door wasn't open. And then I turned around and I came back and I looked down, and both of you were down by the fireplace, just playing sweetly, quietly, you know.
What did you?
That's crazy.
What did you even think? Like, did you know that she was experiencing this stuff there?
I didn't know about all the other stuff yet.
We kept it very hush-hush. Like,
yeah.
We didn't talk to... We tried to keep it to... Tyler didn't know. Like, literally my brother who lived in the house. So
your dad shared... He said there's some stuff going on that's really weird. And we've had he said that there'd been a priest out. And I thought, well, geez, if you're doing that, this is serious business. But I also respected, because it was, how do you talk about that? What do you?
No, really.
Yeah, how do you just bring it up? So how was the priest coming over last Tuesday?
And did you guys like already believe in that?
Oh, I didn't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my dad was an altar boy.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
so
okay.
I mean, I feel like our family has always believed in that kind of thing.
Solid in our faith.
Yeah.
In the Anglican church, not the Catholic church.
Yeah. I know your dad's like sensitive to all of it too. Did anything ever happen like in his childhood with spirits?
To ask him.
Okay.
You know, he was such a off-the-wall kid, which is not
What
surprising.
a nice way to put it.
Off the wall, rambunctious.
Very busy boy. So fun. So cute. So full of energy. That I don't think a spirit could have caught up with him if he wanted to. He was a busy boy.
I'd love to know, so the door flying open is like something that's stuck with you. Did anything else happen in that house that you remember, or was that the only thing?
That and the area, the door behind the door that bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
And for me to even remember, I mean, I've been in a lot of houses. I sold real estate for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I honestly, there's probably 2 other things I could tell you about any property I ever saw. But that
was one of them that stuck out.
I could almost still smell moisture,
it was almost like wet dirt and wet cement. And,
Ooh, like mildewy.
Yeah. Stagnant, but wet. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I think that cabinet opened a little bit more. Did you guys hear it?
I heard something, but I wondered if it might be a kitty cat.
I don't know, but it looks more open.
Right? Do your cabinets open often here?
Oh, every day.
Oh.
All the time. I just say,
oh my gosh.
Open.
It's funny though when you start to, I've been listening to so many spiritual podcasts recently and just like sermons and stuff like that. And it seems like kind of the more you listen to, almost the more it riles them up.
100%.
Where I notice things like that happening more often, where it's like, oh, I've listened to like 2 sermons today, and like now that, and because I talk about it a lot, you know what I mean, for a year and a half, and now cupboards are opening.
Catching up to you.
Don't say that.
The battle between good and evil. Well, I want you to listen to Dolly Parton's song.
Yes, please. That'll calm them down.
Depends on the music taste.
Play Dolly Parton's song, God Don't Come Down Here.
I would love to at some point go through these letters and everything.
Oh, you may.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
That'd be really special. Honestly, like we said before, those impromptu videos where we just weren't expecting to be able to interview and talk with someone who was such a large part of my life and who got to experience in a small way what I was experiencing. They got to watch me. So to be able to talk to my grandma about that was...
Well, even just, like, walking in that room and, like, the letters and all that, because I remember one of the first things I'd ever, like, heard of you, like, I don't know if it was on TikTok or, like, one of the first time the first time we ever met, you told me about it, but it was that freaking experience about the letters.
It was on TikTok.
And I had no idea that... I like, knew, but I hadn't put it together that it was, like, this grandma.
I'd never seen the letters until today.
My God.
That was my first time. You guys were with me.
And that's like the spirit you had, like a full-on just like sit-down conversation with, right?
That was the first time I was sitting there and I was so sick, and he just walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, like I knew exactly who he was, even though he was 30. And I talked to him for hours, like not even kidding, long enough to be able to call multiple people, wait for people to finish things so I was able to get a hold of them, and it was unbelievable the amount of people I was able to help just from talking to this one spirit. So that was him, and those were the letters that were
That's so crazy. I'm literally thinking now, and after hearing you tell that story, that directly after I heard that is when I reached out to you. So it's like full circle.
Wow, and we just saw the letters together.
Oh my God.
I'm excited. She said that she would let us read them. Like, they were dating. That was before they were married.
It was 1962. I saw the year.
Wow. My mom was born in 69.
I know. My parents weren't born either.
But, yeah, that was absolutely amazing. I'd love to be able to read letters like that. Yeah. Just pieces of history like that are priceless.
I know. I wonder what the date was. What is the date about?
We'll find it.
Okay.
Alright, well, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out.
If you guys like these type of videos as much as we do, just comment them down below.
Yeah, let us know what you guys want to see. I mean, we do what we want to do anyways.
I know. It's just good knowing.
But we'll we're going to do what we want to do anyways.
We just want to know who we're pissing off.
But we'll post more content of stuff you like here.
Yeah. I don't know. They're like my favorite videos. So anyway.
Yeah, it was really cool. But other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
No. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.
I wanted to see what
Other than that,
did you see